Hey guys, how's it going? Before we get today's video started, I just wanted to remind you guys about today's sponsor, JK Gaming Supplies. They sell all kinds of video game stuff on eBay. The name of the store is JK Gaming Supplies 2002, and they sell everything. They sell stuff for the old consoles. They sell stuff for the new stuff. And I know that there are a lot of different places on the web where you can buy stuff like this. What makes them special is it's just a husband and wife trying to run this little video game business themselves. And so why don't you give the big box places a rest and try out JK Gaming Supplies 2002 on eBay. I'll put the link in the description, so be sure to check that out. And all right, let's get started with today's video. Rated F for fucking awesome. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Timothy Tim PSP, back here again for the long-awaited, some have asked me about it, some have waited for it, the PlayStation Vita video. And here it is, my custom 256 gigs PlayStation Vita build. And here is the custom case, just a black Vita case, and the wood grain should be an indicator. Wow, I'm sure I provided it in the thumbnail, yet to be made. Here is my 256 PlayStation Vita Slim. And as you can see, I went with a kind of wood grain skin on this. And this has been my Vita for a while. A lot of people have asked me, when am I going to do a PlayStation Vita build? And to tell you the truth, it took me a while to get the software to where I wanted it to be. Spent years working on the PSP, and getting the Vita where I wanted took a while as well. So I'm not just going to turn something out just because it sounds like a good idea. So first off, I will show you here that we've got our SD to Vita adapter with, see if I can get that in there, my 256 gig memory card, SanDisk, put it in there, drop the memory card adapter into the game slot. And now that you've seen what the PSP looks like, we've got a lot to cover. 256 gigs is a lot of stuff on here. Originally, I thought about doing 200 gigs, and you might have seen my PlayStation TV video where I kind of showcase that and its differences from the Raspberry Pi. I really wanted this to be kind of the ultimate handheld, especially if you're into Vita games And so I thought that extra 56 gigs, I could really make use of it when it came to PSP and PS1 games. So since I'm always trying to improve on the last thing I did, 256 just seemed like the right way to go. All right, so what I'm going to do now is turn the lights down and fire this bad boy up, and you can see everything it has to offer. All right, and we'll get it booted here. There we go. We are running Hinkaku Enzo, and if you don't know what that means, that just means that this Vita is permanently hacked, so there's no need to run any software when you first boot the Vita up. It is just ready to go. And here we are. Now I tried to continue with the wood grain theme, and as you'll see, all of the wallpapers are carrying over that wood grain. Now, my eyes are terrible, so I'm going to do my best to try to read some of the stuff on the screen. Now, as far as organization goes with all the Vita games, I have organized them personally to what I play the most. So right now I've been playing a lot of Shovel Knight, so that is what's on the main screen here. But I have set up some folders for some other games. You can't have icons for all the games. There is a limit of how many games you can have installed and bubbles you can have present on the screen. So that's why these folder bubbles kind of make it a little easier when it comes to organizing when you've got so much content on one PlayStation Vita. Now, if you do have a PlayStation TV, this is already set up. I think it's in this folder with whitelist. That'll allow you to basically bypass some of the copyright, restrictions that don't let you play Vita games on a PlayStation TV. Still don't understand why they did that, but that's here. You also have your dump tool. So if you do have game backups that you want to populate to the main screen and be able to play, you just copy those into the appropriate folder, launch that app, and it'll move everything over. I've found it's the easiest way to get games on your Vita, even if you want to go through and you can, on your desktop PC, you can extract VPK games and then go ahead and move them over to that folder and play your games. So I wonder if this would be better if let's see if I zoom in here. Oh, come on. Let's focus. There we go. Yeah, this is a little bit better. Apologize for the audio quality. If any of you people have noticed, I'm switching to a new camera, and my microphone that I used before is not compatible, so we're just having to deal with that. Okay, so got your system folders. Have a couple of game folders here, and just holding a couple of games. I didn't exactly know where to put. These are games I like to play, like I said, and I like to have those games on the main screen. God, man, that's still looking blurry to me. What if we zoom out a little bit? There you go. That seems to be a little bit better. Again, apologize for any video quality here. Just getting used to the new camera setup. Obviously, the Vita screen is nice and crisp. So, other games folders. There we go. Oh, and I also have a game folder with, we see Ratchet and Clank 2. Also, I've got a folder for some imports. It's just Japanese release only games. Sometimes these games are hard to play. But it's just cool to have them on there. And honestly, these are Vita games that don't take up much room, so I decided to throw them on. Let's see, as we go down, here we go. We've got some God of War games, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. Like I said, this is just my personal selection of games that I like to play on the Vita. And then also you can see the wood grain wallpaper. I picked a different wood grain for each screen. Street Fighter Cross Tekken is here. Assassin's Creed. Ratchet and Crank Full Frontal. Mortal Kombat. Ridge Racer, Borderlands 2, Corpse Party, Batman, Atomic Ninja. Taking you through all of these games. There was Hot Shots Golf, Asphalt, Age of Zombies, Dragon Ball Z, of course. Got some Dragon Ball on here. Also the Vita port of Tetris. Silent Hill's on here as well. Wings of Freedom. Real Boxing, which I find fun. Sly Cooper. Soul Sacrifice. A lot of content on here. And as I scroll through, I know some of you are asking, Tim, I saw something in the thumbnail. Are you going to get to that? Yes, I will. This is complete with a DualShock 4 controller that's paired with Bluetooth to the PlayStation Vita. Will allow you to play some games that way as well. And in a minute, I'll set that up and let you check out some more gameplay, let you see that in action. I wasn't lying when I said that there is just a buttload of games on here. Oh, Injustice. That's a fun game. Definitely tried to put a good amount of fighting games on here. I'm a big fan of the D-pad on the PlayStation Vita, and I think it works really well when it comes to fighting games. All right, now we have a folder with some RPGs. Not all of the RPGs are in here, but you can see what I've got to offer on this page. Obviously, got to have the Persona games on there, so I'll give you a minute to check that out. As you can see everything I've got on here. And then we've got our emulators down here in RetroArch. And then we have our PSP firmware running Adrenaline. And let's load Adrenaline. And what this is doing is running PSP firmware, custom firmware 6.61. Everything you could do on the PSP, you can now do on the Vita. We'll zoom in here a little bit. Lost my zoom. Okay, now you'll notice straight away there's no old school folder. And if you're new to one of my videos, then you haven't seen, but I like to do a special spin on my menus, running stuff in the PSP. And so what I decided to do is still include that, but just in the old school hacks. And if you're unfamiliar with those, ROM hacks, well, they're when somebody takes an old game does some new coding, adds some new things to it, and gives you a totally new experience like Sonic the Hedgehog. I make these special menus to showcase those games and give you guys a chance to check them out. So it's like taking an old game like Sonic the Hedgehog and turning it into a brand new sequel. Same thing goes with The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. You'll find all those videos here. All those games here. And then we've just got some Sonic the Hedgehog games. Just a big collection of Sonic hacks. And then a bunch of Super Nintendo hacks. Mega Man games and their appropriate hacks. And some custom menus that I've made in the past. This was for the Ghostbusters PSP. If you haven't seen that before, it was a couple of years back, but it's still on my channel. I have to say, I'm still proud of that one. I feel like it came out pretty good. And here's your NES hacks. All new Super Mario Brothers games, Punch-Out games, and down here you'll find Castlevania stuff. Alright, jumping out of hacks, take you down here to PlayStation 1 games. Now, in this folder, I believe it's in this folder, I went heavy on RPGs. If you guys know me, you know I like my RPGs, have made several RPG-themed PSPs. Not everything in here is RPG, but you can see everything I've got on here. Might even need to turn the brightness down on the screen here. I can do that in a minute. Yeah, there's Suikoden. Here, let me see if I can make that just a little. All right, that's a little better. Allow you to read and be able to see what's on the screen. All right. Taking you through all the menus here. And I'm also excited to show, there's Persona. I'm also excited to show you RetroArch. Man, do I need to take the brightness down even more? All right, that's all you're getting. The Lunar. Secret of Mana. Oh my God, so many games to cover on a 256 gig PlayStation Vita. That's just the PlayStation 1 folder, the first one. Here, the second folder in PlayStation 1. Spyro. I tried to include everything for the Vita that I think is worth a shit. Everything for the PlayStation 1 that's worth a shit, all on the Vita. Ready to Rumble. Rayman games. Quake. Primal Rage. All on one sleek, badass handheld. I always like to throw Parappa the Rapper in there because it's such an iconic PS1 game. NFL Blitz, you just saw. The Soul Reaver games. King of Fighters. The list just keeps on going. Oh my God, so many games in here. I'm trying, you see me speeding through because honestly, I don't want this video to be an hour long. Tenshu, the second and first game. We've got Tekken on here. Siphon Filter. Several of the Siphon Filter games, as you'll see, some of the menus have their own sounds. Haven't been able to go through and customize all of those. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Oh yes, and I have a special love for the Mega Man games. There's Mega Man 8. Capcom versus SNK. And then the Resident Evil games are on here as well. All right, we made it through that menu. And down here now you'll see uncategorized. This is where all the PSP games are. And here you go. In my opinion, these are the best games that the PSP has to offer. Your opinion might differ. But if you have some games backed up, well, you can add them yourself. The PlayStation Vita just takes a micro USB cord, which I will provide
What you wanna do?
if you get a Vita from me. Dead to Rights. Ridge Racer. Awesome racing games on the PSP. God, it just keeps going. I love all the content on here. And we haven't even gotten to Retro Arch, which I'm really looking forward to. Burnout. Mega Man, Maverick Hunter X. If you haven't played that, you should check it out. At least check out some video footage. That Pac-Man World 3. At first I thought it was stupid. It's a fun game. I'm not gonna lie. Beautiful Joe. Spider-Man. Assassin's Creed, Infected, Grand Theft Auto, Castlevania. Tim, you're going too fast. Yeah, because there's too much on here. Oh, and my favorite Pac-Man game that ever existed, Pac-Man Championship Edition. I wish I could play right now, but I'm not going to because we have so much to cover. Have I mentioned that? All right, if you want to get out of the PSP menu here, just double tap the home button and peel it back. And here we are in the main menu. All right, so what should I do next? Let's hook up the controller and I will let you see what RetroArch looks like in old school emulation on the PlayStation Vita. So let's pause the video and get that set up. All right, controller setup's really easy. All you have to do is make sure you've got Bluetooth turned on. The controller here is already paired and you are good to go. Everything works great. I haven't really noticed any lag time, although I'm sure I'm going to experience some if I keep playing through the viewfinder of my camera. But what's a blind guy got to do? RetroArch. Let's launch it. Now this has already been started, but loads up the same way. All right, let's take you through all the systems that I have to offer. All right, so starting here with the Atari 2600, going into the 7800, the Atari Lynx, Bandai WonderSwan, Color, both sets of games are on here. We got a whole bunch of Commodore 64 stuff. DOSBox honestly doesn't work that great, so there's just one game on here. It's something you can actually, I should say, DOS games run nicely, but You have to have like a keyboard and mouse set up to really take advantage of that. So there's really not much of a point in having it on here. Maybe in the future there'll be a way to do that. I don't know. I haven't tried hooking up like a Bluetooth mouse up to the Vita. I don't think that's possible, seeing how most Bluetooth controller devices really need to be like a PS4 controller. You can't just pick anything you want to use. Final Burn Alpha, arcade games. Quite a few on here. You'll also see same games for different regions. If you find one you like and one you don't like, it's really easy to just select that game and remove it from the list if that's something you want to do. I'm not going to do that for you though. And certain games run better than others when you're dealing with the arcade systems. And I'll take you through all the games in here. There you go. Now that's just Final Burn Alpha. Coming down here to Vectrex. Just a bunch of Vectrex games, homebrew stuff, Vectrex music. If you're into the system, you can check it out. MAME 2000. Now this is the bulk of the arcade emulation that's on this PlayStation Vita. There are a lot of games to pick from. And just like with Neo Geo, some games are going to run better than others. Find a game you like. I've added the multiple versions in here just because I felt like it was a good idea. So you can pick what you like and what you don't like, since I'm not you and I don't know what versions of games you're partial to. And just let me fly through this list here. That's a lot of arcade games, and that's just MAME 2000. There's more compatibility with the Vita than there is with the PSP. The Vita is not that much more powerful, but as you can see, the support running RetroArch to play all these old school games is definitely there. So MAME 2003 is a short list. I threw that on there because some of the games work, so I kept the list short, so you weren't going through a bunch of things that had compatibility issues. Mattel's Intellivision, my first gaming system. Had to throw it on here. That's a full set of games. And you'll find all these console systems have a full set of games. This is NEC's TurboGrafx 16, so you can play Bonk and Keith Courage and Alpha Zones if you want. Nintendo Game Boy Advance, going down to Game Boy Color, regular Game Boy, Nintendo Entertainment System, and Nintendo Super Nintendo. Virtual Boy runs okay. Some games run better than others, but the PSP can't even boot a Virtual Boy game. So, all right, here we are in Sega 32X. Also Sega Game Gear, Master System, Mega Drive, that's your Sega Genesis, and your Mega CD. I didn't add any CD games on here just to save for room, but as you can see, the option is here if you want to add some games in the future. And then we've got your Neo Geo Pocket Color. All right, now I thought it would be fun for me to do a little bit of gameplay. Great thing about the RetroArch setup is after you've picked a game, it'll save it in your history, and you can also add certain games to your favorites if that's something you want to do. So let's go ahead and start. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the 2-player version running under MAME 2000. Now I should show you that when you go to load different games, maybe if it's something that hasn't been played on this Vita before, You go to run that game, and it'll ask you what core you want to use. Most of the cores make sense. Now, the current core is MAME 2000, and you can pick that from the list here. These are all the cores that are installed, and you can try to run games with those. Some cores won't run the game. What you should try to do is stick to the core that makes sense. Go ahead and pick it, and then run. You have to wait for boot time while the Vita loads that system software into the memory, but shortly here we should boot that arcade system. All right, here we go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So how many quarters I pumped into this game system when I was a kid? I don't even want to talk about it. Me and two friends of mine went with $10 worth of quarters each. We made it to Shredder and he kicked our asses. Well, now you don't have to worry. Quarters unlimited. Once again, playing here with the DualShock 4 controller. Oh, sorry, focus. Focus. Come on. There we go. Come on. No problem. I swear I'm better at this game when I'm not looking through the viewfinder of a camera. Let's add some more quarters. Alright, well, I'm shamelessly getting my ass kicked over here. Let's show you some other systems. Alright. Okay, enough of this sadness. Push, select, and start at the same time. Exit you back out into main menu. And then you can just close. Where am I going here? Close content. That'll take you back to the main RetroArch menu. And then you can just pick another game. Let's go with something retro. Let's do the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you can also use the shoulder buttons to skip by letter. You know what I'm going for. Let's go. There's also, you'll see some ROM hacks in here. See, what Nintendo emulator do you want to use? You've got a couple of different choices. Just a moment to load up the software. And here we go. Here's Super Mario Brothers. Now, I only play this for a minute because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Oh my god. This is so weird playing with the viewfinder on my phone. Let me try, see if I can look down here. Oh my god. This is probably the worst I've ever been at Super Mario Brothers. I'm telling you, I'm better than this. Oh. It's shameful. It's shameful. Alright, you know, just to prove it. Where is it? Oh my god, you pathetic bastard. There we go. If you ever want a new challenge, oh my god, I don't recommend playing the game this way. Get over. Holy crap. There we go. Okay, you guys get the point. All the game systems work that way. I swear to God, they work better when you're not looking through the viewfinder of your cell phone. All right. I think that's good. I think that's good for RetroArch. You get a feel of what games are like and how they play. Let's go ahead and jump back out. And let's check out one Vita game. And why not go with a fighting game? Where is Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Go with Ken and Ryu here. Fine with those settings. All right.
Has reached Ryu thanks to Chun-Li as she tracks Shadow's movements.
How good am I going to do? I predict terrible.
共に戦えるのは久しぶりだな、ケン。そうだな。悪いな。俺たちが勝つぜ。
キャン、準備はいい？
Let the madness begin.
波動拳。出会い頭ってやつだ。うりゃ。竜巻旋風脚。波動拳。昇竜拳。
キャミーお願い。
Oh my god. guys, well, what can I say? That pretty much does it. This is my 256 PlayStation Vita build. There's really so much on this little handheld, from just the little that I've been able to show you here. PSP stuff to PlayStation Vita games. You know, what took me so long to get this thing all set up is I just wanted to make sure that everything worked right. Not all, when I first did my first build, not all games were launching properly, and it started to concern me that maybe games would stop working halfway through, or things just weren't running as well as I wanted them to. So it took me a while to get to this point, but I'm really happy with what I came up with, and I'm happy to finally enter the PlayStation Vita realm. And you know, putting these systems together has been a learning experience. I'm thankful to say that I haven't destroyed one. I feel really badly about that. And hey, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, or maybe the Vita isn't quite for you, I also do PSPs and have a ton of PSP videos. You can check me out there. Or if you've got questions about one of my PSPs or questions about this PlayStation Vita, you can check me out at timothytimpc@yahoo.com. Send me an email there, and I'm happy to talk to you. Or you can visit me on my Facebook page, Timothy Tim PSP on Facebook. And what are you saying? You're saying you want this Vita? You want this one? This is the one you want? Well, it's going to be on eBay. And if you waited to the end of the video, then maybe you're interested. So it will be on there. Hoping to put it up this weekend, and the auction will be a week long. And if you're the high bidder, well, congratulations to you. And if not, well, I'll be doing more Vitas in the future. This won't be my only one. So again, guys, thanks for checking out the video. And game on!
Game on!
Yeah, game on!